Hey folks, Brendan here from Bluelight with another podcast stroke video to help support you in the police recruitment process. And if you're new to the Bluelight world, welcome. I'm Brendan. I've been coaching and supporting people just like you to succeed in the police recruitment process now for over a decade. I've been in the police sector for almost 37 years. In a couple of days' time, it'll be my 37th anniversary of joining the police. And for about 26 years now, I've been helping people to succeed in promotion boards and specialist interviews inside the police. So huge amounts of experience there, which I can pass on to you. And that's what I'm going to do today, because so many of you, when you go into the police recruitment process, are not prepared for the actual police recruitment process itself. So that when I'm doing my one-to-ones or my live webinars with groups of you, preparing for things like the interview, preparing for things like the online assessment centre, you often struggle, and you're struggling with things like difficult decisions. That's a common question that gets asked. Tell me about a time when you've had to make a difficult decision. And so you sit back and think, I can't really think of a time. Or a time when you've had to deal with a conflict situation. I can't think of a time, is the reply I often get. A time when you've challenged someone's inappropriate behaviour. I've never done that. Although the opportunity's been there, I've just not done it. And so you're struggling. Similarly with values, what values are important to you and how do they link in with the police service, that the values of the police hold dear to them? You've not thought about it. You've not thought about examples of when you've demonstrated those values. What are the challenges that the police are facing? Not thought about it. 1 week before your final interview is not the time to start thinking, help, I've not done some of these things, I've not covered some of these things. So that's why in this video, in this podcast, I'm going to talk to you about the things that you can start doing now to prepare for that process. So first of all, what's attracted you to being in the police as a career? This is your starting point. This is the starting point of a lot of final interview questions. Tell me why you want to be a police officer. Although at the moment some application forms have got rid of that question because they're trying to streamline everyone in as fast as possible for the 20,000 uplift. In application forms, that question will come back, why you want to be a police officer. So it's important to identify that now. And by the way, if you're thinking, oh, I'd like to know more about what you're saying here, Brendan, it's probably about an hour's worth. And that's why I'm going to commit everything that I'm talking about in more detail to a free online course, which you'll be able to access very, very soon. It's not ready yet. I'm only halfway through recording it, but halfway through recording it, I thought I could just give some people some snippets here, couldn't I? And that's what we're doing now. So watch out for the launch of that free, yet completely free, online course that's going to help prepare you for the police recruitment process. So the first thing, like I said, what's attracted to you to the career of being a police officer? Think about the inspirational moments, think about your motivation. I'm going to get you to record it on a worksheet that I'm preparing for you. Secondly, reality check. Is what has inspired you or motivated you the same as a reality? So sometimes when we watch all those fly-on-the-wall cop programs or the police dramas, they portray a type of policing which doesn't really happen. Even the Home Office adverts which came out a few weeks ago, oh my goodness, what were they about? I've never experienced anything like the things they were saying. You could be involved in this. I think one of them was about some police officer who'd undercovered some terrorist plot, and the National Crime Agency were doing a warrant and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it may happen once or twice to one or two police officers out of the 130-something thousand that are out there, but it's not happening on a daily basis. So a little bit of a reality check is needed. And then, of course, I'm going to talk to you about how to do that reality check. Practical things like the pay. Can I survive on the police pay to start with? A lot of people drop out the process right at the very end because they've suddenly discovered, I'm going to get paid how much? I can't take that pay drop. And they drop out, and they've just spent a year in the recruitment process. And it's so sad to see because they've just realised, I can't afford to live on that. I've got 2 kids. I've got commitments, financial commitments, and I just can't afford to take the pay drop from where I am now to what I will be in the first year of me being a police officer, even in the first few years. Things like qualifications, every force has different requirements in terms of what they need to have you to have in terms of qualifications. Again, so many of you get all the way to the end of the process only to discover you've not got the required qualifications. Vetting requirements. I've just got off the phone with someone who's in the latter stages of their life, not latter as in mine, but they're in their 40s. And very sadly, they've got all the way through to the end of the process and discovered they can't join the police because they spent a short amount of time in a youth offenders institute when they were younger. It's just a big no. If you've been caught shoplifting and you've had a caution for that, aged 15, it's a big no. There's some things that are always going to be a no. So it's better that you discover what those things are now and work out that actually I'm never going to be able to be a police officer. No matter how many years have gone by, I will never be a police officer. And then you can save yourself the heartache of going through a recruitment process to succeed and be happy, only to have your dreams dashed right at the very end. Medical requirements, very similar. You need to make sure you comply with medical requirements. There's certain things that you might have that will preclude you from being a police officer, always. Some things it'll be down to a doctor's examination. So you need to be clear about what those things are as well. Tattoos, different forces, different tattoo policies. If you've got a tattoo, it's well worth trying to clear it with the force beforehand. There's one force I know of, one of my clients at the moment that's doing some one-to-one work with her. She's got a tattoo all across her hand. And the force has had photographs of it and has said, yep, fine. Equally, I know of other forces where that would be a huge no, straight away, a huge no. Another client just recently, she's got a small tattoo behind her ear, got told by the force, no, there's no way you're ever going to join the police. Well, there is actually, because other forces will take her. So we need to be clear about what each individual force will accept in terms of tattoos. Piece of advice for you. So many of you in the Police Recruitment Facebook group talk about, I'm thinking about getting this tattoo. Do you think it'll be an issue? Just don't. Don't get a tattoo whilst you're in the recruitment process. Save it until once you're in. Because once you're in, you're going to see people linked up in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. And depending on the force, it's just not an issue. So check that as well. And also have a think about the time. You're gonna have to devote a lot of time to being a police officer, especially in the first few years when you're studying for the police constable degree apprenticeship, the degree, and you're gonna have to balance work, studying, family. And sadly, I know quite a lot of people, sadly women as well, majority being women, have had to leave because of the difficulties in balancing family, job, studying. So you need to be thinking about that. Residency, you've got to have 3 years in the country, you've got to have 3 years residency, and you've got to be within the age limits, which is 17 to 57. Yes, 57, you can join at 57. Financial situation, no Crown Court, no county court judgments, and no bankruptcy. Well, actually, you can have those things in your history, but they need to have been cleared, and a certain period of time needs to have gone by from when those things were cleared to where you are now. And then, importantly, things like a skills audit. So what sort of skills are you demonstrating at the moment? What sort of values are you demonstrating at the moment? And what skills and values do you feel you need to develop more? So one of the things in the online course I'm developing is directing you to the types of experiences that are going to help you in terms of things like decision making, challenging people's behaviour, working with others, taking responsibility for difficult tasks, overcoming obstacles, planning, prioritising your time, changing the style of your communication to meet the needs of others, offering a high level of service, dealing with conflict situations, and also giving examples of when you've demonstrated certain values that link in with the values that the police service are looking for. We also need to be taking a look at the police service. You need to absolutely geek out on the police in terms of what they're doing nationally, what they're doing locally, how they're going about tackling problems, what the major challenges, what they're doing about those challenges, who's who. The amount of times in my final interview webinars or my one-to-ones, I just throw a few questions out there like, so what's the name of the Chief Constable? I can pretty much guarantee about half the people in the webinar do not know the name of the Chief Constable of the force they're applying to. Only a small proportion of them actually know the answer to questions around what the priorities of the force at this moment in time, who is the Police and Crime Commissioner, What's the Police and Crime Commissioner just been saying in the press recently? What's the Chief Constable been saying in the press recently? So these are things that we need to be all over. There's a lot. And so the online course, the one that's going to be free, do you like that word, free? It's going to offer you even more than that. So I'm going to give you a structured process that you can start going through now that's going to get you prepared. So when it comes to the online assessment centre, when it comes to the force interview, when it comes to the application form, when it comes to role play exercises, when it comes to entry exercises, presentations, professional discussions as they call them now, all the different things all the different forces do, you are going to be really well prepared, and all I need to do is help hone your skills. Yes, it's a shameless plug. I want you to come and join my courses. Why? Because they work. They work, they work, they work. So many of you have succeeded as a result of my support. I've shown you the way. You've gone and done the hard work. By the way, folks, there's no magic bullet. This won't happen by osmosis. You do not learn by osmosis. You learn by doing, you learn by practicing, you learn by developing the skills that you need to demonstrate in your interview, in your online assessment centre, in your briefings, in your presentations, in the role plays, in the informal professional discussions, all the different types of assessment. There's no point in just walking into it without having prepared and practiced. So there you go, folks, something to look forward to. 37 years worth of knowledge and understanding in the police sector, 26 years worth of experience and knowledge and understanding in respect of supporting people at interviews, and over a decade of helping people just like you succeed in the recruitment process. Watch this space. Go to the bluelightonline.co.uk website, where hopefully that course will be up and running very soon. And if it's not there just yet, join the Police Recruitment Facebook support group. There's a link below, and watch out for the announcements in there. I can't wait to help support more of you to succeed. Take care of each other, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye for now.